Howdy, I heard you like videos. If you're not already watching on YouTube, you should toddle on over to YouTube and you should subscribe to Post-Mortem Video, all one word, and you should click subscribe, and you should click the little bell, and you should select all when you click the little bell, and whatever other hoops that YouTube now has you jump through in order to actually be subscribed. Basically, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Elon Musk bought Twitter. This has made a lot of people very angry and has been widely regarded as a bad move, though many of these people you would think would be excited about an African American being in charge of such an important communication device. But no. Most of the people who are upset seem to be upset that they won't necessarily be able to terrorize other people so freely as they have been, or worried that they might be treated in the same way that they have treated other people. It's a tad hypocritical, and it kind of illustrates the problem with Twitter at the moment, in that it has become rather censorious, and not necessarily due to Twitter itself, but due to people on the platform and their exploitation of its terms of service and rules of the road, I suppose. And it also shows how valid a lot of those concerns and worries about Twitter have been, now that the, for want of a better term, other side suddenly see that the shoe is on the other foot, and that they, again, might be treated in the same way that they've treated others, which kind of validates the concerns everyone else has had over the unfair treatment thus far. Not that I agree with the right wing, but it's not just the right wing that has been caught up in this kind of social censure and so on that has been going on Twitter, and, to be fair, other social media platforms as well. So, yeah, good for them, I suppose, in proving the point. Some people are happy about the change. People who are genuinely interested in free speech, though that's now being taken as a dog whistle or something, I suppose. And a lot of people who are just so fed up with the state of the platform that they just want to see the other side suffer. Some of those people are quite happy about it. Clownfish TV said as much. I've seen other people say as much. I don't think that's healthy or a good idea, and I think it's a touch hypocritical to just want to inflict on people what's been done to you in the past in terms of dogpiling and social censure and so on as well. I think it's always better to rise above and maintain the moral high ground, I suppose, but it's an understandable motivation. Many people say that they're leaving now because they think this is indicative of some kind of enormous sea change at Twitter. I tend to be cynical, and I don't think a great deal will change, at least not imminently. So it seems like a big fuss about nothing, really. But those people who do try to leave are just going to end up running into the same problems that the other people who have tried to leave or set up their own platforms in the past have run into. The same problems that you see at Gab and any of the other alternatives that have attempted to pop up. There just isn't going to be the same critical mass of people on these alternative sites. People go to Twitter in part because of the fight, because they want to get into arguments and discussions with people. They want to encounter what the other side is saying, and they want to counter it. If you lock yourselves into an ideological echo chamber, like Gab, for example, or whatever the anti-Gab would be, Bag, I suppose, you're not going to get that fight. You're not going to encounter as many people who believe differently to you, and that's dangerous for everybody, in fact, because that tends to make people get more extreme. And if you look at Gab and the other alternative sites, their moderation and so on is often even pettier And even worse, their censorship is even worse. A lot of these alternatives at the moment that have advertised themselves as free speech platforms, well, they've been much more censorious of things like pornography, for example, sex workers, and other material on their platforms. They haven't been free speech platforms at all. And any alternative, well, not left-wing, but for want of a better term, woke, I guess, any woke alternative platforms are likely to kill themselves in purity spirals much faster even than Twitter did. So I don't see people leaving as really getting them anywhere. Any alternative is likely to be even worse. And that's a big ask, because Twitter can't really get any worse than it is right now. It's pretty awful, and that's with all these people who are threatening to leave having pretty much free reign on the platform now as things stand. Not that Musk is probably going to be any better. Again, not that a lot is likely to change. I look forward to being proven wrong, but I don't expect that will happen. But Musk's rhetoric is at least promising, and his behaviour on the platform is at least promising. If that's the kind of thing that he wants to see allowed, uncensored, people having a laugh at each other's expense, posting memes and so on without being cancelled, that's at least promising. Now, we all know, due to recent history, the problem with people having positive rhetoric and then not following through on it. Trump, Boris Johnson, and so on, they at least said the right things now and again, even if they never followed through on them, and many of us, myself included, knew that they would never follow through on them and were in fact monsters. But some of the things that they have said have at least been appealing to lots of people, and you can understand why people backed them and thought they might do something positive, even if you think they're idiots for believing it. So maybe there'll be some positive change. Probably not. My wish list? An edit function. A way of dealing with bots, spam and scams, which Elon has suggested might be a small nominal fee to be at a sort of higher tier of user on Twitter. It'd be worth $1 or $2 a month to me, probably to a lot of other people, and that should cut down on the bots, spam and scams. I would like to see an end to shadow banning, which is an underhanded tactic of controlling people's access to the site and their accessibility to others. I'd like to see an end to manipulative algorithms. Can we just go back to a chronological timeline, please? That would be lovely. I'd like to see TweetDeck support brought back, because it takes TweetDeck to make Twitter manageable, really, on a desktop machine. I'd like to see sex workers less censored and shadow banned and so forth, but merely the thought of asking for that seems to have really stirred up the sex negative types, whether from inceldom or censorious feminists. The idea that Elon might ease up on the bias against sex workers really seems to have upset certain people. It'd be nice if they removed filtering on replies and so on, so that you can actually see what people are saying when you click on someone's tweet. And tying in with the dealing with bots and so on, this idea of paying for a sort of degree of verification, that would be nice to see. That's my wish list. But again, I don't think we're likely to see a great deal of change, certainly not very quickly. And things are likely to stay largely the same, at least for the foreseeable future. Musk talks a big storm, but whether he's actually going to do anything remains to be seen. Zang.
Please mind the gap between the train and the platform.
Neverwhere is a book by Neil Gaiman and a TV series from 1996. which has also been produced as a radio play and as a graphic novel. I secured permission in 1997 from Crucial Films and Neil Gaiman's agent to produce a semi-official Neverwhere role-playing game, provided that it not be done for profit. With the Neverwhere RPG, you can follow in the footsteps of the Lady Door and Richard Mayhew Dick in exploring London's mysterious underside, the Twilight world just out of sight of normal people. Beware of Knight's Bridge, avoid the Seven Sisters, be cautious of Turnham Green, and walk the byways of the floating market. Neverwhere uses the description system, a bridge between descriptive prose and dice mechanics, to let you really bring your words to life. Available for free at drivethrurpg.com.
The gallows is cold and the gibbet is lonely. We'll make things hot for you here. The gallows is cold and the gibbet is lonely. We'll make things hot for you, Joe.